Greetings, YouTubers and Booktubers. Thank you for coming to Michael Romeo Talks Books, my channel where I, Michael Romeo, talks about books. It's as simple as that. I do it because I love books. I love the way they transport you to other times, other places, other worlds, in some cases. I just love books. Watching the manipulation of the English language into a story that grips you fascinates me, especially since I've tried it. And I wrote some short stories. I wrote a couple of novels. I wrote a couple of... It's not that easy. It is not easy at all, to tell you the truth. But the whole concept of novels and nonfiction books and books of poetry just enraptures me. But today, we're kind of talking about books because we're doing a tag. And it is and I gotta get the right name here, the Extraordinarily Average Tag. Okay? It was originally created by David Wiley, and I will connect you to David Wiley down below. And I was tagged by Micah Cummins, who I will also tag you, link down below. You need to check out those websites. You do. David Wiley is new to me, but what I've seen so far, I'm very impressed with. And Micah Cummins and I started our YouTube channels at about the same time. And he has just gone like a house of fire. He has so many subscribers, and he has accomplished so much with this channel. And he's young enough to be like, I wouldn't even say a kid brother. He's young enough to be like, you know, the age if I had my own kids. He could be a grandchild of mine, and I have that kind of pride when I watch him just progress his channel and the books he talks about and the way he talks about them. You just need to check him out. And again, David Wiley, I'm new to him, or he's new to me, and but his channel is very impressive from what I can see, and I haven't spent too much time there, but I intend to, because he's a great new find. So this is an odd little tag, and I didn't prepare answers in advance, and I maybe should have. I know Micah Cummins said in his that he did prepare answers in advance because some of them were a little tricky. But we're gonna wing it here, okay? And I've got a timer. It says I've got 37 minutes and 46 seconds of space left on my phone storage before I run out. So it's not going to be longer than that. Okay, so the prompts. The first one: what is a book that is viewed as average but you felt was extraordinary? Book that is viewed as average that I felt was extraordinary. First one that leaps to mind is Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Bach. I've read it a number of times over the years, and well, Richard Bach's philosophy on life and mine tend to be quite different. I still like his books because they tell great stories. Now, his stories, he's intending his stories to be illustrations of what he believes to be reality. I read them just as great fantasy stories. And Jonathan Livingston Seagull, I thought, was one that was great. But I talked to most people who have read it, and they're like, yeah, it was okay. Yeah. But I loved it, and I've read it a number of times. Excuse me, I got to help a princess up here. Princess Toffee's come to join us. Yes. Hi there. Hi, Debbie. Mwah. Yeah. Okay. Who is an author who is viewed as average, but you felt was extraordinary? That one is real easy. There's an author that I've enjoyed, William G. Tapley. He has written a series of mysteries with the main character is Brady Coyne, a lawyer in the Boston area. And I found his books absolutely riveting. I loved what he did with his main character, Brady. And just the plots of his books are, they're just excellent, in my opinion. But you never see him anywhere. You never encounter people talking about him, and yet he's got easily 30 books or more out there that he wrote before he passed away, just a few years ago, actually. I may be a little what's the word I'm looking for? Biased in his. Thank you, TARDIS. In his favor, because I actually studied under him when I was trying to be a writer. I had a one-on-one long distance lessons with him, and I got to meet him once at a book signing. So, but his writing I found extraordinary, and I really don't know why he wasn't as popular as, say, Robert B. Parker or some of the other mystery writers that were sailing at that time. William G. Tapley, if you haven't read him, check him out. He was a good writer. Yeah. Who is a musician or band whose music is considered average, but you felt was extraordinary? A musician or band that was considered average and you felt was extraordinary. The only thing that's coming to mind that I think fits this is a duo called oh my goodness, I just drew a blank on their name. Hold on just a second. No, I can't even look them up because they're pre-internet. But there was a duo that I used to go to see that played the nightclubs where I was living when I was in my 20s. And they were a folky, acoustic duo, and I thought they were great. I thought their music was extraordinary. Most of it was covers of classic folk music. They did some comedy songs, and I'm just trying to pull their names, but it's been so long since I've seen them. Anyway, they were great. And I never understood why they didn't. Couto and Mulligan. There we go. Couto and Mulligan. I knew the name was going to be there eventually. Couto and Mulligan. And I never understood why they never managed to get further than they did. They recorded one album independently, which I used to have a copy of. I might still have it somewhere, but I just haven't used a turntable in so long that, you know, my record albums are somewhere. But Couto and Mulligan, definitely. If you can find a copy of their independent vinyl album somewhere out there in the world, it's worth the purchase, because they were extraordinary in my book. Number 4, what is a TV show or movie that is considered average but you felt was extraordinary? A movie that I absolutely love, it's at the top of my list, not necessarily number 1, but it's up there, close to it, is a movie by Ridley Scott called A Good Year, based on a book by Peter Mayle, which I also loved. And it's about a very cocky, egotistic stock market trader who finds out his uncle died and left him a winery and estate and chateau in Provence, in France, and how this inheritance changes his life, changes him. It's a great story. There are other people I've talked to about it that if they've seen it, they were impressed with it. My wife and I both enjoy it. I think I enjoy it more than she does. We watch it often. But it never went anywhere at the box office, and you just don't hear it talked about. But I think it's an extraordinary movie. It's a beautiful movie, beautifully photographed, well acted, a lot of fun. It's called A Good Year, and it's a Ridley Scott movie. How can it be bad, right? I don't think Ridley Scott ever did a bad movie. And if you want proof of that, just watch House of Gucci, his most recent one. That is a good movie. But there are a lot of other people who think that one's good, so that one doesn't qualify for the prompt. I just wanted to plug it there. Number 5, what is a BookTube channel whose subscriber count is average but you feel is extraordinary? And I know someone comes right to mind, but I want to just double check and see what the subscriber count is, because if it's improved since I've last seen it, then the plug here will not necessarily be necessary, right? And you guys are so patient while I do this. And we've got, there she is. And she has, well, you know, she's up there with 930 subscribers, but she deserves to crack 1,000. So I'm going to go ahead and plug her, and it is Jolene at Bookworm Adventure Girl. She's another one of those that she does unique material, stuff you don't see on any other channel. She's a Canadian, and she is an advocate of Canadian writers, especially Aboriginal writers, on books on Aboriginal topics. She's at 930, and she's closing in on 1,000, and I'd love for a bunch of people seeing this video to go over there and subscribe and get her over that hurdle. She deserves it. I think you'll enjoy her. I'm positive you'll enjoy her, because she is just so engaging in what she does and what she talks about. So there's that one. Now I got to get back to where I was so I can get the rest of the prompts. And my tablet decides it wants to drag right about now, but I really don't need it to. So, how are you doing today? How's the weather where you are? Here, it's cold, rainy, and breezy. Oh, here we go. Yeah, okay, so we're back here. And, boom. Okay. So, now, number 6, what is a skill you are average at, but you'd like to become extraordinary? And that would be cooking. I love to cook. I can follow a recipe and make something wonderful. I can, if I can follow a recipe. But I want to be one of those cooks that walks into the kitchen, looks around and says, what have I got here to work with? And creates a meal. And because that really impresses me. My wife can do that. And it's like, how did this occur to you? And she's tried to explain it to me, and it's just not getting in there. But yeah, I would love to be an extraordinary cook, and I'm just an average cook. Number 7, you find a time machine that will take you back in time for a day, but the day you select must be an average day. Where would you go, and what would you do to make the trip extraordinary? I would like to go, and this is assuming that I remain the age I am now when I go. I would like to go back to the day I was born. And I was in 1961. And just watch how people lived. You know, walk around like I live close to a small city here in North Carolina, and just walk among the people and watch what they do and how they live and how they interact with each other, and just look to have a look of what life was like at the time that I was born. And I think that would be fun. And to make it extraordinary, I think if I could just make that trip, making that trip would make the day extraordinary. So that's a good question. I like that one. Number 8. You win a week vacation, but all of the popular travel spots are all booked out. Where would you go, and what would you do to make the trip extraordinary? Immediately what comes to mind is going to Nova Scotia. Have a couple of great friends that live there. They live near the water, and I mean, like, they can see the water from their house. And when I say the water, I'm talking about the Atlantic, you know. And again, what would make it extraordinary is just being able to spend time with those two. Because we just don't get to anymore. We used to spend time together when we lived closer to each other, but we moved south, they moved north, and it's just not an easy, doable visitation. So that would be great if I could do that. Go to Nova Scotia and spend time with those two. Tag some extraordinary channels. There are so many extraordinary channels. Some of them that might come into, I'm looking at here, already tagged, would be people I would have tagged. So I'm going to go with Bookworm Adventure Girl, Jolene, who I plugged her just a few moments ago. And I am going to also tag Read by Fred, who is an extraordinary booktuber. And I'm going to tag MJ at Reading This Life. Extraordinary. You want 3 extraordinary people? Jolene, Fred, and MJ. They are 3 extraordinary booktubers, all for completely different reasons. So check out their channels. You'll enjoy their channels. I know you will. And that's it. That's the tag. And out of 37 and 46 minutes, 37 minutes and 46 seconds of storage time, I haven't even used up 20 yet. So there we go. I gotta clean up my phone is what I gotta do. So folks, I love talking to you all. Feel free to use the comments. Talk about what I've just covered. Talk about something else that you want to talk about. What's an extraordinary moment for you? You want to talk about the weather where you are? Talk about the weather. You want to give me a great recipe to try because I want to be a cook? Do that. I mean, it's your playground. My comment section is for you guys. And then I jump in and I play with you. It's like playing in the sandbox when we were kids. Okay? So that's about it for now. And I'll have some more stuff coming up soon. I've got to do I'm a little behind on my January wrap-up and my February reading schedule. We're a whole week into February already, week and a half. So, but I'm going to get that done, and we're going to get it put up. And enjoy talking to you guys. Love y'all. Bye. Shut off.